I'll talk a little bit about my personal experience because I've got respiratory disease. I've had asthma since I was little, and I've got COPD now, which is just kind of ongoing airways obstruction. And in my 20s, I had a respiratory arrest. I lived in London at the time, and I was fortunate because it was only 15 minutes to the nearest accident and emergency. And I was told by the consultant if it had been another 15 minutes, I would have died. So, unfortunately, because of my lung function deteriorating, I couldn't really cope with the pollution in London. And we holidayed for 20 years in Swanage. We love Swanage, my husband and I, and we've got some good friends there. So we moved to Swanage, so you can guess what's coming next. So it's been a complete kind of shock to me on a personal level as well as a political level, what's happened about the ambulance times. I can only say that the CCG have blatantly lied about the time it takes for an ambulance to get from Swanage to Royal Bournemouth. I've driven from Swanage to here today and it took me an hour, and I timed the ferry just right. The ferry doesn't run at night, so people would have to go further, and they claim it takes 30 minutes to get from Swanage to Royal Bournemouth, which is clearly not the case. And obviously there's a lot of elderly people in Swanage. It's a very popular retirement destination. And there's also quite a few mums. So if you think of a mum in labour, perhaps with complications, we're talking about not just potential death of older people or people, I'm in my 50s, of my age. We're talking about risk to mums. We're talking about risk to babies. And you know, it kind of breaks my heart, really. And that this is all being packaged up as moving services closer to home, it just makes me absolutely livid. So one thing we have done in Swanage, because of where we are on the end of a peninsula, we've had a petition to try and save Paul A&E and maternity. And whether we'll be heard, who knows? But we gathered 8,000 signatures by hand. It wasn't an online petition. We gathered them on stalls, we gathered them door to door, and we gathered them from shops in Swanage and Wareham. So we put a lot of effort into that, and we're hoping that we might be heard. And I guess that's all I've got to say. I think it's really important that we get out and try and fight now. We've potentially got an opportunity for change, and I think it's really important we don't just think someone else is going to do it, because they're really not. We need to get out and try and convert people and make them understand. A lot of people will die if this goes ahead where I live, who wouldn't need to have died, and yet people are still not turning out to vote and things. So do what you can to encourage people to participate and to simply communicate messages. You know, it's about need, not greed. That's basically the message. And about a civilised society, not one that's built for rich people. All right, thank you for your time.